Hi everyone, Christina here from A Life Well Documented, and right now I'm doing some catch up in my 2020 project life. So I'm going to use this old studio Calico kit. This is Film Club. Just try to crush this kit and get it used up to get caught up. So here I have some photos. I did some digital stamping in Photoshop. All of those stamps are from Studio Calico. And then I have some little photos that I printed out that I'm going to cut down to put on these 3x4 cards. That extra card, I'm probably going to use it next week, I think. It just ended up in the wrong pile. So I have my journaling card in there. Now I'm going to work on my title card. I didn't have any of the 4x6 cards left, so I found this pad of paper. It's from American Crafts. It's called Lucky Charm. So I find that green stripe and I'm going to use that for my title card. This is my new citrus twist stamp called Weekish, and I'm going to stamp on that, and I need a little more decoration on that card, so I end up finding this little calendar. I'll link it down below where I got it, and it's just a little printable, and I'm going to use some of this. This is washi tape that came in a bundle from Dollar Tree. I really like it because it's a thinner washi, where a lot of the washi that I would normally get at like Michael's or Joann's is a little bit thicker. And so, lately I've been really struggling with my scrapbooking. In this video, you're probably going to see a little jumping around. I had over 2 hours of footage doing this one layout. Just a lot of indecisiveness, struggling with things. So for your benefit, I just cut all of that struggle out. It's real, it happens. Life is definitely not perfect, but I'm trying to keep the length of the video down. That label or that banner tab, there we go, that tab up at the top was a print and cut. I don't remember who it came from, but I just attach it with my tiny attacher, and then I'm gonna stamp this week with that citrus twist Weekish stamp, and then the week number with the Jane alphabet stamp from Elle's studio. That was part of that new stamp haul that I just got, and I'm really happy to start using those. I'll link that up above. I want to add some of these little copper hexagons, and again, I'm struggling with these too because as you see, I'm using a pair of tweezers to get all these stuck down. I do end up buying one of those little jewel attachers this week in another little mini haul from Amazon. So I'll be able to use that in the future to help make things a little more smooth as I'm scrapbooking. So now I'm working on this card. This is a bunch of blossoms on my sugar baby watermelon plant. I had, there were over a dozen blossoms, and I ended up with over 10 little baby watermelon buds or starters, when it starts to turn into fruit. But I wanted to document all of those blossoms. That yellowish green was just another card that was in the kit that I had already cut for something else. So I decided to add that to the bottom of that pink card just to add a little bit more interest and just to ground the card a bit. I'm going to trim down this photo because it doesn't really fit on the card because I want to do some journaling up at the top. And I've got out another one of those old Studio Calico stamps. I think this one is called Circle Label. I'm not sure if it came in an old kit or if it was just an individual 3x4 stamp that I had purchased, but I'm just going to put documented on that little label that was already on the card. I'm going to tape my photo down of the sun shining through my watermelon blossoms, get this little chipboard heart down. I'm going to call that one done. I'm going to move on to this card. It says sunny up there at the top, and we've had so much heat this summer. The fact that it is September and it's still 115 degrees is just brutal, but I want to document that, and I'm trying to find a balance because right now I'm trying to get caught up on my 2020 project life by using a lot of these old Studio Calico kits. and trying to work quickly, but also trying to keep the feel of my album still me. I like Project Life's idea, just very simple. Put a card in a pocket, put a photo in, do a little journaling, and you're done. But for me, scrapbooking is one of my creative outlets, so I have to do just a little bit of embellishing. And if I don't, I just don't feel like it's really me. So I cut this photo down to make some room for some stamping. And I have this old Studio Calico stamp called Lousy Day. I love that they're more popular these days, the stamps that document the days that don't go right. But this is a really old one. I think I've had this for at least probably 5 or 8 years. So I just stamped terrible on the bottom underneath the photo, and I'm going to call that one done. I'm going to move on to this card. This was my Roma tomato plant. Now, I see when you look at that little tomato in my hand, you're going to think, well, no, that's more of a grape tomato or a cherry tomato, something. But no, this was my Roma tomato plant, and the weather was so brutal this summer that my tomatoes' growth was stunted, and I only grew one tomato. So I'm looking at a couple of chipboard pieces, and I think about putting that one down, but the balance just isn't right. That lighter chipboard just didn't feel right on the card. So I go back to that two-tone one. I have an old alphabet stamp that I've had for probably 20 years, and the numbers fit perfectly on there, so I just stamp one for the little one tomato. This washi came in the kit. It's phrase washi, so I just cut some of the other phrases off, put them on some packaging, and then stuck the amazing down, because it's amazing that I even grew one tomato with our record breaking summer. So I'm just going to layer those two photos for perspective to show how small the tomato was. I realized that bottom photo was a little crooked, so I get that straightened out. I'm sorry some of it is off screen. The current camera setup I have just really is a little bit off right now, but I'll get that fixed. I put one of those cork flags on the photo from the sushi, and we'll get that done. Now, I wanted to use, this is part of one of those new stamps that I got from Elle's Studio. This is the Noted Volume 3, and the stamp was too big for my largest stamp block, so I get my Tonic stamp platform out. I love this little platform. The plastic is so heavy duty, and I'm not sure if you can see, the hinge in the middle is actually metal. So very, very sturdy platform. Love that little thing. I use it a lot. So I'm going to do some journaling on this card. You guys don't need to see me writing. It just makes my videos long. So I'll do most of that off screen, and then this card will be done. So now I'm going to work on that bottom right section. I was going to do journaling down there, but I decided to do a filler card instead. I go back to that paper pad. I need to use that up. I have way too much paper. So I find this nice floral, and I take out, you saw it there on the side for a moment. It's an old Hampton Arts stamp. I think it's called Mod Greetings. I'm going to use that, but right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the alphabet stickers from the kit, and I'm going to spell out Everyday Adventure. Now, trying to get this lined up so my OCDP was happy took me probably 15 minutes. So I just sped through that and cut out the things you don't need to see. I just line them up on my ruler and then stick them down. It helps kind of keep everything even. And then I'm going to take that, like I said, that little line of chevrons, and I'm using this Kelly Perky Urban ink pad, and I'm using that teal color because it kind of ties in with the green card at the top. I am just going to call that card done. So as I start looking at this spread, I realize I want to add the date stamp on that week, the title card up at the top. I go grab my roller date stamp, and I am just wanted to make sure it was going to fit. So I'll move that up into view here in a minute. I love that little roller date stamp. I'm going to need to get another one because I think it only goes to 2021 or 2022. But I love those little stamps. They're so versatile to be able to go back and do either previous or new date stamping. So there we go. Now, I was thinking about adding something else to that everyday moments, but I decide against it. I just want to keep it simple because of that floral on the bottom. All right, so that is it. My spread is done. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I've got that calendar with the little tab, the dates, that Dollar Tree washi, and then those new stamps, some digital stamping from Studio Calico, that new Elle Studio stamp, and then that little filler card at the bottom. I did some journaling on the photos. I think that works. So if you're trying to crush your kits, comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video and you want to see more, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already considered subscribing, please do so. That way you don't miss any future videos. All right, thanks guys. See you later.